Hey, everybody, and welcome to episode 152 of the Wealthy LaLa Show with myself, Laurie Laursen. Okay, so show 150, I talked about being blown over the fact of when you value yourself, some things they're just not even issues. Like they're just non concerns in your life. They're not a problem. You actually don't even function in reaction to them. You don't consider them. You just allow yourself to be you and choose for you, knowing that you valuing you is the gift that came here to contribute to the world. Okay. I so needed to hear that. And what's really interesting is because I love to have conversations that create greater, like all the time. I just want to have some juicy stuff. Let's talk about juicy stuff. Let's, understand change, play with, whatever. That when I was having, and I really do recommend you guys, like if you can go back and listen to 150 and 152, because it's kind of it sort of will help with today. Whew, ooh, it's so funny how I yawn when I start doing this, and I'm not yawning. I'm not yawning. I'm not tired. I'm not ready for bed. It's actually 8:30 in the morning. So for me, my time, I mean, I'm fresh. So whatever energy gets moved. But I really do recommend that if you could go back to, go and listen to 150 and 151. It just sort of goes into more explanation about where I got to here in the event that you're interested. So, on yesterday's show on 151, I was talking about like on a scale of 0 to 100, that Abraham Hicks talks, like Abraham, who is channeled through Esther Hicks, talks about how if we were to live and function like 80%, playful joy, receiving, allowing ourselves, like, could you imagine living a life of 80% fun and joy? Like, I've done a lot of this stuff, people, and even that seems like a lot for me. So that's where I'm going from, because what I know for sure from what I've been listening to and my intuition, my awareness tells me that this is spot on. So I'm going for it. I'm not sure how long it'll take to get there. Um, but I'm going to have fun in the meantime. Is that like if we live at the 80%, that's where the magic is. Well, you can have the magic all along. Like as soon as you start choosing greater, choosing more value for you in whatever that looks like, it's going to start to change. Okay. Like right away, you can ask the universe, divine source, God, show me that what I'm choosing is creating greater for me in my life. And, I had, just what I started in my meditations, like just imagining that I had money coming up at me from all different directions. Well, in that week, I ended up getting some clothes bought for me, some oracle cards bought for me. I ended up getting a refund on a book that I bought over a year ago. I got a refund on another book that was shipped in October, and I've still not received it. So I said to them, what do we do? They gave me my money back and said, when the book comes, I get to keep it. And the book was $50. Gosh, there was other things. Oh, I think I had someone pay for my lunch. Like there was about 6 things that were all like it wasn't money. Oh, and I even got a client. I had a client that the session was booked for an hour and we went 2 hours. So that was like unexpected, and just, things like that. Just so you don't have to be living at 80% to start receiving it. You'll start it right away. But could you imagine if oh, wow, if that's what you get now, like living where you're at, you just start getting these little things start showing up. But what's even cooler to when these things start showing up is you get the awareness in your world that it's the acknowledgement. It's the acknowledgement that you're choosing what you're choosing. And that's what makes life so fun. Like, really, it makes it fun. Someone someone gives you a coffee. Okay, so what? It's $2, right? Say if it's Tim Hortons in Canada here, it's $2. But it's an acknowledgement that your ask, your willingness to receive, your willingness to be in the energy to receive money, and someone gives you a coffee, it's acknowledgement that what you're choosing is creating. And then that you actually have the power to change and create your life. Like, how disempowered have we felt, feeling like we've been all the time at the effect of this reality, or other people, or our job, or our finances? It's like we've got this universe. It's like we've got this parent that is just sitting there to give us everything. All we have to do is ask and get in the receiving of it. And then follow those intuitive hits that say, go to Tim Hortons and get a coffee, and then you drive through and someone's paid for it for you. Or, like, I had actually bought these clothes, and I the next thing you know, I was asked by someone, hey, I'd like to contribute to in this way. What would be fun for you? And I'm like, well, you know what? I actually got these couple of new shirts. And I hadn't received them yet. I said, that would be really fun if they were like a gift from you. Now, I know this is a big stretch, people. Like, I've created this kind of a relationship with some people in my life that we are so open that we can actually do this. But what's so fun is that it ends up being so fun for both of us, because it's light in that person's world and it's light in my world. Now, every time, no word of a lie, because I have received those shirts now, when I put them on, I think of this person with such gratitude and generosity and gratefulness, like, that it creates more when I put on a shirt. you know but that's where life is becoming so much more juicier. And I noticed that even on the other night, we went to a concert. And if you guys know Kim Mitchell's been around for 30, 40 years, at least. Well, he has a band member that's been with him for 36 years. So, and my hubby and I remember him from high school. So, um, anyways, I was like, I'd really like to go see him. And I mentioned it to my hubby, and it's on a Wednesday night, and it's at 8 o'clock at night. And it was at a venue we've never been to before. And we weren't really sure if we'd heard good things about the venue. And, you just, certain things you just want to be comfortable for. And, but something kept telling me to keep asking. So normally, like, if my hubby kind of goes, nah, I don't want to, I drop it. Okay. Because I would put his value, he's the one that has to go to work. I'd put that, but something wouldn't let me stop asking. So I asked again, and he kind of, and then I asked again, and he's like, well, you are interested? And I was like, yeah. And, so anyways, went online. I asked people on Facebook, hey guys, what do you guys think of this venue? Like, I think out of the 10 people that responded, only one was like, it was okay. The other people were like, no, we were really happy with it. And it was like, okay, well, interesting. And then I phoned our oldest son, who loves music also. And he's like, oh my God, I was thinking of going too. Well, then, of course, it becomes this expansive, fun, playful thing. And it ended up being that him and his wife and my hubby and I all went. And that created more fun in my hubby's world to make it worthwhile to go on a Wednesday night, on a work night. Because, I mean, we have to keep in mind in our world that whenever we go to anything in the city, which is Edmonton, which is close to where I live, it is at least an hour home after you get out, like when you get on the road. Okay. Woo! Okay. So, what's interesting is it was valuable to me to ask. Like, I allowed myself to listen to the whispers that kept saying, ask, Laurie, this is going to create more for you. Ask. It's okay if it's uncomfortable in someone else's world. Ask anyways. And what ended up being created was that the universe had my hubby's back and created it as fun for all of us. So my ask created a really cool time for 4 of us, and there was no, like, in my hubby's world when he had to get up at 6 or 7 the next day to go to work, like, there was no, oh, it was a late night, like, because it was a night that it generated, like, you guys ever notice that when you pick something for yourself, like, you're gonna go on a holiday, you can go to bed at 2 in the morning and get up at 4 and go to the airport, and you end up being just fine. Like, you're tired, but it doesn't take you that long to recover from it. You have a good nap, or you get to the hotel, or, you have a beer, you go sit on the beach or whatever, have a margarita if you go to Mexico. So this is what happens when what is created. This is what's created when we choose things that contribute to our value. So knowing that I valued, I asked, and then I asked again, and then I asked again. It created greater for me, and it created greater for all of us. And it was funny because when I phoned my son, he was kind of like sort of that, oh, I really wanted to go, but because again, he has to get up at like 6 or 5 in the morning to go to work. And that little bit of extra juice that we were going together, just made it more fun than if you go just as a couple sometimes. And so how is the universe, source, the divine waiting to support you when you ask the questions and ask for the things that create value or show you that you have value in the world? So my question created that whole evening. Like my ask, me recognizing that something that was important and fun for me, and it just started with me, but asking for me created value in my world and then created value in other people's worlds. And it was just really fun. And the concert was really awesome too. And it was really funny. On a side note, they were showing on their big screens before the concert started all the acts and different shows that are coming up to this venue. And one of them, it was called a burlesque show called the LaLas. Like the LaLas. I looked at my daughter-in-law and I'm like, oh my God, now, like being a wealthy LaLa, now I could have this alternative persona as the burlesque LaLa. Like, people are catching on to the fun of what a LaLa can be. Oh my gosh. Anyways, and even looking at the joy that I am having with this show and talking about it is just, it's creating even greater in today for me. And so choosing more of that. So this is energetically moving me up that 0 to 100 scale. Okay. I'm getting moved up and moved up. And when I choose this kind of thing, this actually changes the energy in my body. And having created illness and stuff and dis-ease in my body, I know that my body was definitely functioning way below the 50%. And it was really interesting because Dr. Joe mentioned on his 1 hour long call that he did yesterday, he does this monthly call, and he mentioned on it, he was talking about it, about how a woman in their community, kind of like in the Hay House community, had been diagnosed with cancer. And she said, even though she became like a happy person or whatever, or looked happy on the outside, there was a lot of stuff underneath, like a lot of beliefs, a lot of ways she was functioning from, like mindsets that she had that she needed to choose and change. And her cancer is gone. She is cured from cancer. Now, in her world, it took about 2 years. Some people go to Dr. Joe's workshops and they're cured much faster. And other diseases are cured within a meditation. Now, usually people have done like a bunch of meditations before. Sometimes it is just like a couple months or something like that. I mean, but to know that that's possible, and to know that life that when we actually change the energy in our body, when we acknowledge the value that we love ourselves enough to do this, whether it's body movement, whether it's meditation, whether it's singing or swimming or taking the time to do EFT tapping because you just got really annoyed with someone, or something. Like that is loving for you. That shows you to you that you have value. So, oh my gosh, people, this could just, I love this. I love this. Adore you. Please see that you have value. Invite it into your world. And if you don't even know what it is in your world, ask the universe, God, divine source to show you. Let you see another person like I saw the other day who values themselves so much that situations just don't knock them off. On that note, you guys, I adore you. Thanks for listening. Big hugs. Have an amazing, amazing rest of your day.